Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Stories. This is just general share advice and not personal advice. And here, happy to be here with the Wolf on possibly Wolf, a world that's looking a little bit better today. Obviously, with hopefully some good news coming out of Ukraine.
Yes, I hope so. We're sort of sitting on the brink, aren't we? It was obviously praying for Russia to go back and pull out, and so we can have a normal 2022 without any conflicts.
Right, let's just have a look at the market. So we can see the 200 really just teetering on resistance. So I think this Wolf. What we want to do by the end of the week is see us sort of hold where we are, at least get back over that sort of 7,228 level. And if we can do that, positive. Okay, happy to trend, happy to trade. If the market is looking a lot more positive, much happier to get into short-term trends. And again, I'm looking at the Dow. It's holding above trend. As long as it can hold above there, certainly in those sort of stocks which aren't tech stocks, the trend, I'm not so worried. It's the market isn't racing higher, Wolf, but as long as we've got a sideways market, it's good enough for us to trend, right? It's good enough for us, hopefully, to pick those sections. The only section which, again, is still looks like it's struggling a bit is some of these, is some of the Nasdaq, some of the tech sections, yeah. At the end of the day, this can change pretty quickly. Let's see what happens by Friday. The whole story is actually playing out between Russia and Ukraine. Wolf, just be patient. Let it play out over next week. Let the air clear, let the clouds clear, and then we'll see where we are, and then we can make a plan and we can move forward.
But Dave, just to underline, we've got to be patient at the moment. The volatility is extreme at some stories and some sectors. Tech is probably one that's just seeing just crazy. We've talked about 2 weeks ago about some of the movements up 20% one day, up 20% the next day, right? Or sorry, down 20% one day, up 20% the next day. SE is another one, Dave. Just put that one because I'm just watching that one this week. Holy moly! Put it on a daily. Just look at on a daily. It's just, oh my lord, what's going on here? So down one day, 20%. Up 20% last night. I mean, it's just extraordinary what's going on with some of these stories, right? The volatility is just crazy at the moment. So the markets are just very difficult to get a hold of, thinking where is it going to end? What sort of valuation should be putting on some of these stories? To be honest, I just don't know. It's just changed. The dynamic is changing on a weekly basis. So that's why I'm thinking just be patient. Let's find out where we might see some sort of a bottom on these things, and then we start easing back into some of these stories. So patience is the key.
Wolf, just go on some of the trends we put on yesterday. SWM, really a buy around there. It still sticks. I think still looking good, and maybe in this environment makes a little bit more sense to put that trade on. SGM starting to move quite nicely, Wolf, and I think next week could go high and look pretty good. BHP a little bit quieter today due to possibly less volatility in Ukraine, but still looking pretty good. So just play your stop loss. I still think that's looking good, and hopefully that can move higher for us. Good to see some of the stories that have reported well, like AMS looking a little bit better, Wolf, but really could do a little bit more. And again, MNY had a superb announcement, but again, I think the price action, it's not really selling it to me. You can still see the market is still nervous of these mid caps and these micro caps. There's still a lot of nerves around at the moment.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't be not jumping in just yet. I think just at least, like I said a little bit earlier this week, just wait till the end of the week. Let's just see exactly what's happening with this Ukraine-Russia. Is it a full withdrawal or is it just one of those temporary things? Because we could see down days by the end of the week again. We just don't know. So let's not jump, like you said, let's not jump at shadows. Let's see some concrete evidence what's going on.
Wolf, ORA.
Yes.
We're going to start with the trade of the day.
Oh, that is a trade of the day, all right.
Right. Excellent announcement. The price action's very, very good. So a buy around this sort of $3.55 level. We've got a great stop loss around, say, 3.29. We're going to target around the $4. I mean, it was trading there before the COVID fall. This is a story that hasn't really recovered, and you know, you'd think there'd be a nice little move back up to up 50 cents on ORA.
It should, right? Theoretically, you've got a report that's excellent, especially the US, which is really it's driving the whole report from what I can see, and a lot of upside because the margins in the US are much, much lower than in Australia, right? But the revenues are probably quadruple to what they are in Australia. So there is a definite upside to the story here. But, you know, if you look at the overall picture, they've delivered about a 20% growth, dividend up 20%, looking for more growth in 2022, so full year, and trading on 15 times, Dave. On a 15 times trade, I'm buying this. And I'm, you know, taking this to $4. And even though this market is volatile, you know, we spoke about should I be trading, should I not? It's not a tech stock. It's fairly safe. It's fairly cheap. So theoretically, it should at least hold those trend lines.
Well, you know, you got possibly a 12% gain, and you got around a 4% dividend.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, 5% dividend now with that hike. Right.
So you'd be sort of fairly happy with that return over a 1 year period, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Now, considering, and again, if you give me some statistics right at the start of the day, over the last 100 years, 10% returns for the market. So if you find a stock that can deliver you more than 10% per annum, you'd take it, wouldn't you?
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. So, and again, it's not in the tech space. It's there's value there. It's just ticking a lot of boxes all around. So,
and also, Dave, it is one of those companies that's looking to help the planet by recycling a lot of the packaging that they do, and obviously trying to use stuff that's compostable as well, right? So if they are going to use plastics, whatever, for the bottles and everything else, it's not going to be staying in a system forever. So you got to give them kudos and tick of approval there as well.
Wolf, the next story, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about is LRK. Okay. So this has been an excellent story. With some pretty decent reports coming out. Unfortunately, there's been a problem with the CEO. He's had to resign. There's been an emergency meeting. He's had to resign. It's not a good look, right? It's a bit of a worry whenever you get this sort of situation, but especially that he's the main guy, he's the founder behind the company. It's a little bit of a worry.
Yeah, I mean, he's driven the price from $1, even less than that, to $5. I mean, if you lose a CEO like that, it's not a great look. But of course, there must be something serious if he resigns suddenly. So there must be something there that's worried everyone, and maybe there's more repercussions to come. We don't know. So I think
we've been sort of looking at similar stories where this has happened before, and I suppose CDA, where the CDA CEO retired. He didn't resign for any sort of major reason, but you can see that sometimes you get these good companies on a roll, but when you get the founding director, the guy who's built the companies, resign, and even this guy said, "I'm still going to be around. I'm still helping."
It's a nice way of going, right?
And you can see the share price has been really so. When you look at that, Wolf, you know, certainly if you're in LRK, you'd maybe look at this and say, well, maybe I'll see if this can bounce back up to $4. But even though it's not the end of the week, I think I'd be looking to get out of it, Wolf.
The history doesn't help it, does it?
No.
It's not going to bounce overnight, that's for sure. And even though the new CEO, it's Laura McBain, who's actually quite good because she used to run Bellamy's, right, which was a market darling at one point.
Well,
still, very different to what the founding, I suppose, MD probably would have done. So it's
Wolf, even Bellamy's had a lot of problems with that.
Yeah.
I mean, she hasn't got. I mean, I'm not criticizing. I'm sure she's a great CEO, but over the period of time, they had a lot of issues with Slater and Gordon suing them, and
Yeah, I think it's at the end of the day, a different CEO could be a different operator. So we just don't know. That's why the market probably sell now, ask questions later type of movement. We've seen it. Also, Dave, put JHX, another one that
maybe we're going to get a whiskey baby food formula. What? So we can just sit on the bottle.
Yeah. Can we get one each?
What a good idea that would be.
Oh, Dave, I think we're onto something.
Well, yeah, definitely. Whiskey. The babies would sleep. Well, hold on a second. Wolf, when I was a baby, that's what they used to give us, a little bit of whiskey.
Now it all explain everything, how you are. So
that's the old-fashioned thing. Oh, my nana, just give a little bit of whiskey, he'll sleep and stop crying.
Yeah. And he's never woke up since then.
All right. Right. So I think if you're in that, you've got to look at getting out. See if it bounces. It's starting to bounce a little bit now. See if it can have a little bit of a bounce. Then I think I'd be pulling the trigger.
Yeah. Going with this announcement because there's a lot of announcement this morning, which is very good.
Definitely. And the other one is LTR. Now, this one worries me, Wolf, and I'm a little bit scared that a lot of Equity Story members would look at this and see the headlines Tesla. At one stage, this was up 17% today, and rush in and buy it, because there's issues here. Now, can you explain that? Because we've got to protect everybody.
Well, the issue is it's trading on 3 billion market cap, and he still needs to build this mine, right, and deliver the products. So all good and well signing up all these, Teslas, Amazons, the world, and make promises, but if he doesn't deliver, those promises are not going to be kept. So that's the key, really. And for me, really, those MOUs and binding agreements and everything means squat until you can actually develop your mine, and that's always been the big key. And yeah, you can have a great name attached to it, would maybe help you with getting funding for the projects, but LTR is not the only company that's developing the lithium project. What happens if the lithium prices ease off over the next 2 years, right? Because there's a lot of mines coming on board. It's going to look very different because they're not going to produce till 2025, I'd say, right? So that's another 3 years away. A lot of things can happen. It's just risky. 2-3 billion market cap. No, thank you. That project's nice, but it's not. I don't think it's worth $3 billion.
All right, no. So and again, it's had that little bit of move up. The week's not finished. You can see it's starting to come down again. So,
and also, I can guarantee you, Dave, that Telsla's probably signed about 1,000 contracts with 1,000 different companies that are going to deliver lithium for them.
Well, of course they have. They've got to guarantee their supply. I mean,
exactly. So, no, LTR, you're not special.
So just be wary about that, guys. EML Wolf technically on the charts looks terrible and looks like it's actually going lower. Must have been a pretty weak announcement. You read this one?
Yeah, it wasn't great. I mean, okay, it probably missed expectations. And like I said, I said sell as soon as they had the problem in Ireland. Sell. It's never recovered since then. It's always struggled to get through the trend lines. It's still not being it.
All right, Wolf. Another one again looking weak. These funds under management are starting to suffer. Yep. NWL. So far, if it looked like this by the end of the week, you'd think this is going a lot lower. Yep. What's happening here?
All right, so I think this is a case of very similar to what PPS delivered, right? So we've got revenues up significantly, right? PPS same thing. Problem is, profit went backwards, just like PPS's did, right? Market doesn't like that. Even the dividend has been record delivered, right? Market goes, bottom line's going backwards. I'm not buying this. We're selling this. We find something else. It's too expensive. Is it overdone? Is it panicking? Is it the market's a bit irrational at the moment? Absolutely, all those three things I'd say. But
and why is the bottom line suffered where the revenues the growth?
Probably costs. Expanding, developing products. There could be a number of reasons why the bottom line slid backwards, right?
But Wolf, it must have slid back, or their costs have gone up substantially. I mean, if they've grown 46% growth in revenue, and the bottom line is weaker.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, is this another case of us starting to see inflationary into salaries?
Absolutely, it would be. But also, I think it gives the market an excuse to say, you guys can't, have a balanced approach to your growth. In other words, top line and bottom line. We just don't like the way you do things. We're just going to get out for the moment and see whether you can improve your bottom line, because really in this market, that's the most important thing right now. And like
Oof.
you see, Dave, like you see with RRA, revenues weren't that fantastic, up 10%. It was the bottom line that delivered that 20% plus growth. That's what the market wants and rewards, the actual expansion of margin, not decreasing of margins.
MTO, Wolf, great looking chart. I mean, you'd be buying this good dividend any day. Was the announcement today good enough to say, yeah, I'm going to hold it?
Yeah, I think so. Look, there's good and bad thing in there. The good thing was great result they're going to deliver, right? Because they've already pre-released it, and an upgrade, by the way, which is always a great thing. But the negative in there, they talked about January, which is obviously past their reporting period, because the reporting period was from July to December. So January said that was weak, right? Which you think, oh, no. But then they said February starting to return back to some sort of normality. So January was the Omicron thing still, right? That's why it's probably been a bit weak. So I expect still a pretty good performance overall for the second half, minus that January, which was obviously not a great month for them. So overall, I think very positive. I'm holding. Remember, this is a dividend story, Dave, and it's going to give you a bumper dividend.
Brilliant. RDY. I mean, it's holding about trend absolutely beautifully, Wolf. Yeah. The announcement, you quite liked it, but it hasn't gone on with it. So if you're in it, it looks like it's a hold. If you're a trender, you wouldn't be buying it at the moment. Is that a fair assessment?
It is, but it's one of those things that I want to buy, but I want to see some markets positive sentiment return to it. The thing is with this one, it is probably one of the top of the list ones because it's actually profitable. It's one of the very few tech stocks
that actually makes money.
Small tech stocks that's growing its revenue and growing its profits. Yet the market's still not. Yeah, exactly. The market's actually still not quite waking up to this one. However, it's held up much better than some of the other tech stocks. You got to give them that, right? Because it's come back from $2 to $4. So only lost maybe 20, 30%. Some of them lost 50%. So it is actually doing okay-ish. And as soon as it gets over that 350, I reckon we're back in.
And what sort of PE is this?
Oh, look, I'd say it'd be expensive still, right?
Yeah.
Because it's still early growth. So I wouldn't be looking at the P's at this stage. I'm more looking still at your revenue numbers. But like I said, the bonus is it is profitable. So I don't think it's a candidate for the continual going back to the market and raising cash, which is always problematic in this market right now for a lot of investors.
So, I mean, revenue up sort of 63%. So that P of 135, although it's high, obviously you can see it coming down.
Oh yeah, significantly. It's one of those that I'm happy with the profits. Obviously you got to forgive the P for the moment because it's still very early growth, and maybe that will change significantly in the next couple of years. But show me another company in this space that actually can be profitable right now. Not many.
It's a bit of a worry.
Exactly. But then that was the market before. Now it's very different. So we got to adapt.
But definitely looking like a hold, Wolf. Corporate travel. Again, it's a good announcement today. It's still looking sideways. It still looks like to me this is going to track sideways at the moment. I'd want to see a stronger candle this week to feel that this could break through 25. Did you feel the announcement was good enough that this could go on with it?
Yeah, look, at least they delivered what, when we put out our little trades on the leisure space, it's what they've said in there. That's the reason why we put it out there, right? It's the fact that it's improving. You can see the numbers are getting better and better. Probably the next 12 months even might return to some sort of normality even. And during the quiet period, CTD has also did some acquisitions. So they weren't just sitting back and hoping for a miracle. They were actually working behind the scenes and trying to grow the business while the markets was not even interested. So you got to give them kudos for that. Yeah, look, it's not cheap, but still, it's a decent company. I don't mind it.
Wolf, just talking about travel, can we go to SDR, because SiteMinder also put an announcement out today, and they're slightly down. So what did you make of SiteMinder?
Yeah, look, I'm still classifying this as my number one play in this space, in the leisure space, the travel space. The result today was decent, right? Growth, and probably one of the few that's actually been growing all the way through the pandemic, right? Even though the growth slowed down significantly, yep, it still delivered numbers that are better than probably everyone else out there. And again, the numbers are improving with the weeks and the months ahead. So for me, I'm still a holder of this. And, disclaimer, I am a holder of this. So, everything's got a price, of course. So I'm going to have an exit strategy. But for the moment, I'm happy to hold and see if they can improve. Now, the only thing I probably didn't like in there is that, that's still unprofitable on the bottom line. Saying that, next 12 months, I'd say they're going to get close to it, profitability.
Thanks, Wolf. Maggie, be a Wolf. We suggested people buy this as a trend a few months ago, and we got a lot of people in it. Again, the chart is just held up absolutely beautifully in a torrid time for the markets, and it just shows if you get the right story and the right sector of the market, it can still keep on doing well. And Maggie Beer has the announcement today. Are you a holder fundamentally?
If I was a holder, I'd still be holding. That was a good result, and really, I think they're transforming themselves. They did a big acquisition recently, and that acquisition has delivered exceptional growth for them. So I think this is the one that possibly you hold on.
Definitely, and I think if you're not in it, potentially, you could have a look at it. I think Wolf, a good announcement. Chart is looking very, very good. I think it's tradable.
Okay.
I think you could maybe look to buy this at 60 cents, put a stop loss somewhere just under the maybe 47, and at least target initially that 70 cents, something like that.
Fair enough. That's good.
We want to buy good charts which are going up and
good results.
Good results. So easy. Wolf, talking about a company that's been a big winner for Spermaticus, at the moment, technically, we can't go there. It's under the trend lines. It's expensive, but again, another strong announcement.
Yeah, another strong announcement. On what a remarkable company that can actually make a huge profit on a very small revenue number. We've seen some of these stories, and we're going to go probably a couple more, like your PGLs, $70 million, RBL, Redbubble, 300 million in revenues and no profit. These guys on 40 million revenues, they can make a 20 million profit. What? Geniuses.
Well, that's what you want, a business with great margins, don't
exactly.
you?
That's why it's a market darling, Dave.
But it's just, unfortunately, you get good news at the moment. I'm just hesitant whether this can really go on with it.
I think it's just too expensive. I think, while it was a remarkable result, and obviously the market is applauding it, I think it's going to struggle to get back to that $60. So I'd probably find something else to play with for the moment. Right,
Wolf. Let's look at PGL because we've talked about this one, and now that it's really starting to break up very, very nicely. You liked the announcement earlier. We had a look at it. It's trading 1x revenue.
This is why the market just makes no sense. Some companies are just ridiculously overpriced, and some companies are trading on 1x revenue, growing at 70%, like PGL. It's okay. Look, we know the issues here, right? Unprofitable, and we said, the market just doesn't like unprofitable, so that's why it's been marked down. Second of all, market hates this space at the moment, doesn't it? It's just anything to do with buy now, pay later or lending. No, thank you. We're not interested. And the reason probably why is the interest rates, right? The interest rate environment's going up. The funding's going to be much tougher for them. That's why it's not interested right now. Saying that, are they what, is all that been priced in? I think so. Trading at 1x revenue, this is crazy.
What do you go? I think we go for it, really. We'll put a stop loss on it, maybe just under 89. Buy at 103, target 120. That's 17% there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You convinced me. The chart does look good, but the problem I've got, the only thing is if your guy gonna trade it, tight stop, because we've seen this previously. It tries to go up, it maybe does have a little bit of a spurt and then comes back. So you're playing a tough game here. Let's go. Let's have a shot at it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
All right, thanks, Wolf. Breville.
Yep.
Now, they had an excellent announcement earlier. It broke trend, and they're struggling, Wolf, just selling into that move. Okay, good announcement, but obviously the market looking for a bit more.
Yeah, I think so. It's a decent announcement for sure. Growing still quite nicely. When I see the market reaction, I'm thinking, fair enough. There's probably more interesting stocks out there. Retail is not the best place to probably be. So, if I'm going to play retail, there's maybe one or two only I probably look at, like a PMV. Other than that, pass. So, look, I can understand. It's not sexy, a bit boring. But if you're in this, for because you like the story and you want the dividend out of it, and let's just have a look at the dividend, then maybe you hold on. But for me to get excited and buy it, I'd probably say no. But let's just double check that. Hang on. I need to be 100% sure that we've got a decent dividend. Let's see what they've come up with. Yeah, so there's a reason why the market's probably saying no. You've got a P of 43, Dave, and a dividend of 1.3. So it just hasn't done enough. It's just too expensive.
And like you said, why would you buy this when we've got a whole list of companies with similar growth with much better dividends?
Yeah, or even not even the growth, but much cheaper, right? Look at JBH. Look at the dividends much better.
Yeah, doesn't make sense, does it? What about EBO, Wolf? Because I thought they've come up, looked very strong. The chart is excellent. Definitely a hold.
Yep.
Again, it's not saying buy me at the moment, but I'll tell you what, you definitely be holding it.
Mm-hmm.
CSL.
Yes.
So they come down to trend.
Yep.
Bounce back off. Enough for you to say they're going to get back to that 284 level, Wolf, or are they just also too expensive in this market?
For what they delivered, too expensive, Dave. Look, they saved face because I think their report was better than expectations. But still trading on 33 times. Growth is around between 5 and 10%. It's not enough for me to push it any higher.
Yeah.
Side with the best, I'd say.
All right. Wolf, FMG.
Mm-hmm.
What did you make of it?
Profits down, dividend down. It's all about the iron ore prices, really. What can they extract? Yeah, it's changing its, obviously its future by investing into hydrogen and other assets, but that's going to take years. It's still iron ore company. It's still reliant on the prices. So for me, it's going to be volatile, trading only. So I'm going to leave it to you, Dave.
No, so I think not trading. I think I'd be taking profit out of this, Wolf.
There you go.
If I was in it, Wolf, we had a look at. We asked on RCNS Live to look at BRX. Not impressed.
Well, look, I had a look at it because so obviously somebody asked about it. Great jump. So I thought, let's have a look at it. But early days, they're not producing anything from what I can see. So it's just an explorer with a couple of advanced projects or targets. Yeah, I don't know why the jump. I've no idea. The management's okay, but nothing special I didn't see.
Right. On that note, Wolf, thank you very much. Thank you very much for going through some of the ideas today, and a few trading ideas out there for those people who are brave enough to step into this market and have another trade. But on that note, Wolf, certainly things are looking a little bit brighter, and hopefully World War III maybe it's not this year.
Yeah, well, let's hope not.
All right. Well, especially for you, if you want to go to Poland later.
Exactly. So I'm praying. Please don't do anything. Let we just have a nice little year where everyone can just do whatever they need to do.
Yeah, because I don't
for 3 years.
Yeah, I don't think you'd do very well fighting on the front line. I think I'd be putting my money on Putin to win.
The opposite side. Thanks, Dave.
Well,
thanks for your confidence.
Yeah, you're not a fighter, Wolf.
No, definitely. I'm a pacifist, so definitely not a fighter.
You're a lover, not a fighter. All right, thanks, Wolfie. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.